email marketing, are you avoiding high spam rate? This is a very important question that you would need to answer. And if you are not avoiding high spam rates, it means that you are getting a lot of spam rates, which is not good for your business. It's definitely not good for your email marketing because that is a track record that you don't have quality content delivery. So we're going to talk about that today. Welcome, Kalisara, Prince Will, Coach Z, Mona Lisa, Wayne, Santosh, G. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Thank you for being here. It's exciting times, and I feel like this is going to be a dope conversation. If you have a question, please put it in the chat or raise your hand, because this topic is very important to have, and if we don't have it, it won't be long until you realize you wish you knew about this. So if you've never heard about this or know what this is, we're going to discuss this today. Now, what is email spam rate, or what is that to even begin with? This is simply something that you can calculate. So if you want to calculate your spam rate, normally your CMS or even CRM platform specifically would do it, because if your CMS is Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, so CMS is content management system, and that's where you have your website. Then your CRM is your customer relationship management tool, which is also technically email marketing. Some people always say, is email marketing the same as CRM? It's like, it's a lot of information to understand, but there's a slight difference, but they both do technically things that will allow you to have communications, but it also depends on how robust you want both of them to be. You could either just send emails once a day, or you can turn that email into automation, into triggers, into systems, into segments, into so many things, funnels and beyond. You can do so much with it. So how do you calculate your spam rate? It's already being done for you, but if you want to learn how it's done or what it is, your spam rate is based on the number of complaints divided by the number of emails received. So it's simply the number of people that are reporting that your email is spam compared to how many people received it. So if you're looking for a low spam rate is anywhere from, of course, 0.00, and standard is normally 0.01. It may not sound like a lot, but after the number of emails you send, times the number of people, times the number of times you send it, if it goes up and up and up and it becomes 0.5, that's a problem. So you want to think about having a very safe threshold at 0.1, because it jumps from 0.00 to 0.01. That's the difference. It doesn't jump from 0.0 to 0.1. So by the time it gets to 0.3, it means that it passed through 0.29, which is high. So just think about it like that. So if you want to have 0.02, that's perfect. If you want to have 0.01, that's like having a credit score of 1% or less. So when you think about that, it means that you're using your emails at a high velocity, at high volume, at high speed, at high intent, and at the same time, you're getting feedback that is actually accepting the high volume. It's like saying, hey, I've sent 1 million emails. Okay, 1 million emails were delivered. Were they opened? Yes. How many were opened? Was it 9% or was it 90%? That's going to be a big deal, because if it's the opposite, then it's going to be hard for you to convert, because the more emails you're sending, the more you're damaging your reputation. Just imagine if you were to hit send every time, and that's getting you closer and closer, deeper and deeper, further and further away. from where you were supposed to be. So your email spam rate is a big deal. And I don't see people talking about it. And I said, hey, are you avoiding high spam rate? Do you even know what that is? Do you know what that means? I have a spam rate of 0.1, which is the standard average, because for every 10 emails, you should at least have 0. If you can possibly do that, that's a streak. For every 10 emails you send and you have a 0.0 spam rate, that's very possible. You might have a 0.1 here and there. That's why that 0.1 is carried over a specific volume of email sent. Welcome, Eliana. So you think about your emails sent based on the emails that were delivered, opened, clicked, and replied to. So how are you avoiding email spam high rate, if I can call it that? Because if you're thinking about getting it above 0.1 to 0.11 to 0.21, then it's going to be very interesting, super interesting, because at some point your emails might not even get delivered. That's the repercussion. Like, the more you keep sending your email to mailbox providers like Google Mail, which is Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Outlook, which is Microsoft, there's Apple Mail now, all these ESPs, electronic service providers or email service providers, right? Because it's electronic mail. So if you're sending these types of sensitive information, link-based data, which is going to your website, which is going to these links, these are very important documents. These are very specific things to think about. So when you think about your business and you think about your content, the way to avoid spam rate is by warming up your email list. If you don't send emails often, please, if you don't send it as much, if you don't send it frequently, if you don't have a cadence, then think about how you have to really, really keep it below that level by sending out and warming up your emails. Because when you start warming up your emails, it gets better for you because you have higher deliverability. And whenever you send an email, think about it like every time you send an email, your email gets, how do I say this in a better way? Okay, imagine for every email you send that is good, you get a greater feedback loop. It means that every time you send an email, your next email is going to be better than your last email. So the more you spend and the more you give back, the more you get feedback, which is going to increase your loop cycle. And that is ultimately going to increase your domain reputation, which also in turn gives you higher search traffic. Because the same email you're sending to people is the same domain people are clicking on Google. It's the same domain people are clicking on a search engine. So even if you're sending people an email and that website is not even acknowledged or seen on Google, and how you can find that out is go to site, domain.com. So put your domain there and hit enter on Google. And then scroll all the way down and tell me how many pages, or you can find out how many pages you see. If you see more than one page, that's great. If you see more than 10, now we're talking. If you see more than 20, 30, 40 pages, okay, now you're in the actual database. So it's going to grow over time. And what's going to make that grow? Think about this. For every 10 articles you publish, just imagine you have 12 months in a year. And every month you published at least 10 articles. That means for every month in the year, you added a new page to Google within 10 listings. So it's kind of like saying you went to the library 10 times in a month. So every time you went to the library, you were able to do more and get more knowledge and add more knowledge and keep more knowledge and store more knowledge. So it was like the law of reciprocity going on. So if you really think about it like that, it means that your website every month, we're in March, which means you should have 3 pages. In January, if you started, you'd have one page if you had no pages at all. It's not rocket science. You get what you put in. So when you start putting out your content like that, welcome Sid, Cleo, Zaid, and Ken. When you start putting your content there, you start to get more signals on Google. Then you also get more signals within the analytics board. Most times when you have and I'm going to do a room about this, and if you want to get in touch with me, connect with me, check me out on LinkedIn. Also, you can go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com, click the link above, and you can get emails like this so that you can see what I'm talking about. Welcome, Edwin. When you send emails, and you send emails that have good spam rate, because there's bad spam rate and there's good spam rate, just like there's good debt and there's bad debt. There's good sugar and there's bad sugar. There's good behavior, there's bad behavior, right? So when you look at your content flow, your workflow, you're creating content for people to see. So if people are going to see this content, are they going to see it and call you spam? Or are they going to see this and actually send you a reply? Or are they going to see this email and put a star on it? Because when you send someone an email and they put a star in your email, that click you did is not just a star. It's not just a star that sounds like this. It feels like that because you put that as important, right? You marked it as important. That's great. Now, when you think about the click rate and you think about the open rate and you think about the stars, you start putting these things together. So imagine for every email you send, let's say you send out an email to 10 people, but 8 people out of 10 keep saving your emails and then 2 delete them. By the time you've sent out 5 to about 10 emails, and let's say you've done that 10 times in the month, or let's even stretch it, 10 times in the year. So that means every month you had 1 page on Google. That means you had 10 listings on Google. That means you had 10 links on your website. That's literally what it means. And you do that January, February, March. Now you got 3. You've sent out 3 emails. What you've just done is if you have a website and you have a pop-up, that means you're getting incoming traffic and outgoing traffic. It's just like a road. There's one side of the road is going left, the other side is going right. Or one side is going upward, the other one is going the other direction. Like I live in Houston, so it's wide. So when you think about like the lanes, it's like boom, 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 boom. You know, you're driving. If you think about, other cities too, it's moving. If you think about Atlanta, you think about different places you go to, you're like, okay, I can see this. Even go to Dallas, go to Chicago, go to Hawaii, go to Utah. You're going to see like different things happening. And it's beautiful to see that there are so many ways that you can look at roads, and you can just go on Google and check these things out and see. But at the same time, you can create content that is as semantically interconnected like the web. That's why we live in the World Wide Web. It's semantic, right? Because the semantics are putting us together. So if I like this and I find something I like and I see it on Google and I click on it and it's your website, and then it pops at me and say, hey, thanks for coming. What would you like to learn more about? We talk about this, and this. You're like, oh, okay, there's more. Let me check that out. Bet. The next thing you realize, they're in your email list for years. They've never said a word, but they keep opening your emails. The day they say something to you, you know that there was a reason why you kept going. Because most times, when you're sending out to emails, there are more people that don't respond back to you than people respond back to you. Think about that. There are more people that don't respond back to you than the number of people that respond back to you. So you send an email to 10 people and you get 1 or 2 replies, but you send it to 10 people. So what about the other 8? What do you think those 8 people are thinking that you don't know? But imagine if those 8 tell 10 other people, or those 10 people tell 10 other people, that's 20. So it keeps compounding like that, because someone can forward your email, someone can connect your email to somebody else, someone can say, hey, check this out. And then before you know it, they subscribe because they got something of value. And then they connect with you on LinkedIn or Clubhouse, or connect with you on the app, or connect with you online or offline. So when you start thinking about creating content, the goal is to build your business. Welcome, Safi and Kofi. Cleo too, welcome too. When you think about your content in 2026 and ask yourself as a business, where are we creating content for tomorrow? And how are we building this content for now? And why are we building it for now? Because right now, we understand what's happening today. That's why it's called present day. So if it is present day, 10:36 p.m. Central Standard Time, then I know that, okay, March 30th, 2026, this was the conversation I had with amazing people on Clubhouse, talking about email marketing. Are you avoiding high spam rates? Now, when I say that, that is locked in time. I can't go back and rewind. Even though I pressed the rewind button here, we're still seconds ahead. Nothing was rewinded. So if you really think about time, I'm really giving you like a visual, auditory, experience. I hope it's helping, because I want you to really see this for yourself. Just picture this for yourself. How are you creating content for people that don't reply back to you? That's a big question. How do you maintain, sustain, retain, and accelerate, and also add more value to people who don't respond back to you? After this room closes, there are more people who will not say anything to me than the people who would say anything to me. Or if you listen to this on a show, there you go. You're listening to it right now. But at the same time, you may not be able to respond back to me or say anything, but you've listened. So if you look at listen and silent, those are the same words, same difference. It's just Scrabble differently. So if you get a Scrabble board and you put the word listen, LISTEN, 6 letters, and then you reshuffle them, you can see silence there too. So when you think about listening, silence, and people speaking to themselves, and people talking, and how much you speak and how much you listen, and definitely how much you hear, and what you take in, what you feed yourself, what you give out, it's very evidential. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if you're speaking life, if you're speaking love, if you're speaking wellness, if you're speaking good things, then of course good things will come back to you. If you're praying for good things, if you're being a good person, if you have faith, if you're able to believe in things and also trust God that things will happen the way they should, because things happen for you, things don't happen to you, then you realize that you can't control everything. And that's fine too. Sometimes we want to control the world, but we don't. You don't control the number of spam rates you're going to get. These spam rates could come in like a wind, gone. The next minute, another one. And you're like, what's going on? Imagine just walking and you just get hit by the wind. That's literally like a spam rate, because you're just getting hit by it. You don't see it coming. But at the same time, you ask yourself, when you flip that coin and say, oh, it's not the wind, it's a breeze. Okay, I'm actually feeling the wind right now. That's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. So I'm feeling the wind right now. And it's a blessed moment. It's a blessed time. And I feel like now the wind has stopped. That is actually interesting. So you think about this and you ask yourself, okay. Your mind is in a place where you can actually think outside the box and do different things to help more people understand that you're not just sending emails and you're not just talking to them, and you're definitely not talking at them. You're talking with them, because they're talking with you, but they're not listening to your version. So if their version is different from yours, then you're not going to be saying the same thing. Welcome, Cynthia. But if what I'm saying is making sense to you and what you're telling yourself is making sense to me or for me, then the things that you will say to me will make sense for the both of us. And that's where there's a mutual agreement. Because I can say A and you say D, and then we're talking A, D, and we're like, huh? Is it A or is it D? Is it A? Is it D? Choose one. It can't be A and D at the same time. You can have oil and water at the same time. So you got to breathe in, you got to breathe out. So when you think about your content and you say, okay, I'm going to send one email that has 10 links to 10 different web pages on my website. That means 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people, 1,000,000 people plus can access this link. So when you hit send and you don't get spam, that's a very good thing. Because imagine if you hit send and 30%, 50%, 70% tell you spam rate. That's not going to be nice. In fact, Google's core update for March 2026, we're about to hit 2026 April. Google just released a spam update. I think that's why I'm really talking about this now. It's not even about email marketing. It's just about spam in general. You can't spam people. You can't spam messaging. You can't spam marketing. Marketing is not spam. And spam is not marketing. Marketing is expressing interest in showing value in the exchange of somebody's time and investment based on how much energy they want to give in the form of money they want to spend. Because when you're earning money based on energy. If you calculate how much calories or how much mental strength or how much capacity you had to pull off to think through this process and score a 99% or 100% in a score test, or on a paper, or on a research paper, dissertation paper, or whatever paper, and now you've turned that into an email that you've sent out and people are reading, they're actually reading those 10 articles, and then you've segmented those 10 links, that means you have 10 buckets from one email. Now your spam rate is definitely going low, because the more you're able to know who you're sending your emails to, even though they're not telling you, they're clicking. And if you don't let me say it this way, welcome Lucas, if you don't build out a framework or an operation that allows you to create more, thanks for the thumbs up, Lucas. What's up, Pikachu and M? Good to see you as well. Zegaye, and also Navi and Rimuro, thanks for being here too. When you send emails and these emails are in good standing, that means one, you're compliant, because let me just say this right now before I forget, and I think this might also be a reason why you might be seeing spam rates. And if you're doing this, please stop. Don't ever send another email in bulk or broadcasting if you do this. I don't even think it's possible, but if it even is possible, just don't. If you're trying to let me say it this way. If you're trying to mass broadcast or send an email campaign or a scheduled or whatever type of email sequence you want to create, and you're sending that email from @gmail.com or @outlook.com or @yahoo.com or some AOL.com, and you're sending it to a lot of people within a CRM or an email marketing platform, that's not really going to be good. I hope they don't even allow you to send it, because it's not going to look nice. Because, I don't think it will work. I've never done it before, because it just doesn't make sense. It's not even a good practice to begin with. So I won't even start something that's not good to begin with. Best practice is when you sign up with whatever email platform you use, right? We use Flowdesk. I'm a partner at Flowdesk since 2019. I've been on the platform and it's been a great experience. And if you want that information, go to partners.flowdesk.com/we don't play, or click the link above and you can get all the information as well in the description. When you send an email, the first thing that we always do is when you sign up with this 50%, 25%, 75%, whatever code that you get, specifically for Flowdesk, it's going to be 25% for your first year. When you click that link and you sign up and it says enter your email, enter your work email, the email that you purchase from a workspace, whether it's Google Workspace or from Microsoft Outlook, whether it's Apple Mail, whatever type of mail that you're sending it from, because that's also going to entail your domain. Why? Because when you're sending an email, think about your DNS, your domain name system, or your domain name server. There's something called an MX record. That stands for Mail Exchange Record. So when you're exchanging mail with DKIM, Domain Key Identifier Mail, it means that whatever ESP you're sending emails to, right, you are being very specific with how you're sending electronic service providers signals. It's no longer emails, it's signals. Like, let's call it a spade, it's signals. Because when you send signals, those signals are going to either trigger open rates, click rates, spam rates, which is what we're talking about tonight. So if you want to avoid that, anything above a 0.3% is a bad spam compliant rate. You don't want to have that. So it may sound like it's very low, but it's actually high. Very, 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 very high. And even the senior director of product at Yahoo said that a spam rate of 0.3% is really high. This is nothing new. We have always looked at these spam rates, and there are other companies out there also using 0.3. So we are aligned, right? Internally, we look at much lower spam rates across the board. And if you're a good sender, you hear that word? If you're a good sender, that means if you have compliance, if you're ethical, if it's white hat SEO, quote unquote, you can put anything in the quote, but it's done well, it's done with fair play, and you're a good sender. Shout out to you, Marcel Becker. He said that your spam rates will be well below 0.3%. So if you have low spam rates and your email marketing is going to be very specific to how you send them, and you send them in a way that avoids being in the spam, that means you have a higher potential to increase your domain authority as well, because your domain authority also comes from your DNS. It's not just a domain authority. Welcome, Falashade. Thanks for being here. It's not just your emails. It's a signal. Hey, Seema, Anandi, Ram, Shannon, Enktur, Rajat, Gonza. Thanks for being here as well, Mohammed. Appreciate you guys, and I hope you're learning something. If you have any questions, please put in the chat. Also, click the link above if you want to get emails like this and conversations like this. And also, if you have a pink ticket, at the very top it says Marketing Club. I'm one of the leaders here, and we have 353.3K members. So it's a lot of good information that we share. And I said, I'll come in the evening. That's why I wanted to make sure I can do something like this, because the replays are always available for you to check in. So please feel free. Or you can go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com and listen to it too. When you have a very low spam rate, then it means that your inbox placement is going to really matter, because you want to make sure you have a long-standing, I can say ovation, because the more emails are open, the more people clap for you, because more people will pay attention to you when you're doing something good. So you can equate that to something like that. If you really think about that type of analogy, then you don't look spammy. You don't look like you're selling. You don't look like you're trying to say something that is crazy. You're just spitting facts. You're just saying what is supposed to be said, and you're being very understanding and also being very informative. You're also thinking about how you're creating responses, because when you think about your cadence, that is really where the difference changes, or the shift in gear actually starts. Because when you start increasing the number of emails that you send, that is also going to have a big play into your frequency and in your spam rate delivery. So if you send more emails and these more emails are not as good as the first email, it's kind of like saying you send 5 emails and 1 out of 5 are good, then that's going to change everything. Welcome, Candice. So if you have 1 out of 5 emails that are good, and the 4 that you sent after the first were terrible, they may not be terrible. They might just not be as good as the first one. But what's making it worse, or what's making it not do as well as the first one, is because the first one had more impact, because there was more story, or there was more zeal, there was more design, there was more message, there was more you in it than the rest, because it just felt like you were building down a sequence or going down a sequence, which definitely is felt by energy. If I send you a text in the first email, and then the second email I send you a video, the third email I send you an audio podcast, the fourth one I send you a PDF, at some point you'd be like, okay, now I need to understand. And then probably the next email I now send is, hey, before I send anything else, how do you like to receive emails? Do you like emails in text format, in image format, in audio format, or in video format? By the time you get that poll, and then you segment them again, at this point, you're just gliding, because now you know exactly who you're talking to, and you exactly know what they need, because you're never going to know what everybody needs in your email list. The only way you're going to know is by asking them. They're not going to tell you. You got to ask them. And if you don't ask them, they're not going to tell you. So it's either you build that bridge or you split the difference. So you have to think about where you as a business owner are going as a brand, as a member of a position that allows you to have more authority online. Welcome, Diego. And you are creating more intentionality by having a much better response rate and a much higher click rate, a much higher open rate, a much lower bounce rate. When we talk about SEO and bounce rates, you want to have a low bounce rate. A very safe bounce rate is between 30 to 40%. Welcome, Cameron. If you go below that, great. It's kind of like saying if you use your credit card below 30%, great, right? And you paid all and everything, yes. You can go all the way down to 6%, 1%, whatever percent you want to go down through. It's kind of like the better it is, the lower you go. So same thing applies to your bounce rate. If your bounce rate is 30%, 40% average, but yours is averaging around 12%, 20%, that's way better. If the average click rate is 2% and you're scoring 5%, 6%, probably 20%, that's great. So think about these things and ask yourself, to avoid the spam rate. Welcome, Nugget, Aoi, Richuda, Taro, as well as Sachin. Thanks for being here. You are being very specific on how you are getting delivery back. And that's going to play a big role, even in your SEO, because the more you send emails, the more people get to connect with you, the deeper they get to know you, the less spammy you look online, the better. It's kind of like being the weird one in the room and everyone is looking at you awkwardly like, okay, what's about to happen? What's going on? That's what it could look like. And we don't want that. So if we don't want that, then we want to be the person that smells good. We want to be the person that looks good. We want to be the person that feels good and also makes other people feel good, because you want to make somebody feel seen. They may not have been seen all day. Probably nobody said good morning to them this morning, but now you said, hey, what's up? Hope you have a good night. That changes everything, because nobody probably told them good night. So you think about these things. And if you send an email to somebody and they're about to sleep and you say that, you know how much that means to them? You don't know what somebody's going through or what they're going through. You don't know. So emails are so specific that you think about what you say. Like for me, I'll tell you my story, and I won't even talk about like what we do with clients, because I learn so much from them more than they learn from me, because they do so many different things. Before I send one email to our community, click the link above and you can get these emails too. So I'm just telling you what you're going to see. It's literally the same thing. Whatever I'm talking about, you're hearing, you're going to see the same thing on your screen. Before I send one email, just know that I've tested that email at least twice. Sometimes I even go to 6 times. I will send myself that email 10 times before I send you one email. Because I know that when that one email goes, I can't take it back. It's like spilt milk. I can't take it back. If I had a typo in there, if I had a broken link in there, if something was not right, yeah, that email is gone. So at that point, you don't know what to do, right? Because you're thinking, how are we going to create more content, and how are we also going to be more specific? Because that is going to be a way that's going to allow us to have more impact in how we're also able to make more impact for people. Why am I saying it like this? The reason why most people don't see the results in the emails that they send is because they don't get to segment the type of emails that they have based on preference, based on activity, based on things that you can actually share with them. Because the more you're able to be more specific with what they like and say, hey, if we had this thing, would you pay for it? Yes, no. If people say no, you'll be like, okay, here's a freebie. You can start learning this and then you can get to know more about this. If they say yes, you'll be like, okay, here's a beta program you can get in, and before we release the price in public, here's your early access fee. And somebody comes in. So either way it goes, no is not never. Because sometimes when people hear no, it's a storm. It's a big storm. It doesn't have to be that way. Because when you send an email, that email is going to somebody who's going to read it. The same way you put a message in a bottle and you send it to somebody who's going to open it and read it. The same way you send a pen pal. Yeah, that's what it was called before. The moment you start sending these things, welcome Nancy. Lydia, thanks for being here. Kalisha as well. I see you, Love, Zari, Irie. And I see a lot of pink tickets. So thank you for being here. Welcome to Marketing Club as well. Click the link above and that will help you as well to be here. There's so many replays. On average, just to let you know, on average a year, I do about 200 rooms on Clubhouse. I don't think that's the exact number, but I'm giving myself an estimate and then in terms of hours, I can't even calculate that one for you, because some rooms are 1 hour, some are 2, some are 3, some are less than 4. So it's very interesting. So I hope you're you're here. I remember doing a 5-hour room when I celebrated 5 years on my podcast. This was 2 years ago. 5-hour room. So, and people can still listen to that 5-hour conversation on Clubhouse or on wedon'tplaypodcast.com. So your time is valuable. I value people's time so much so that when you receive an email, that email would tell you so much about the time I spent before I sent it to you, because it would give you the amount of quality time that you need to spend with me. If I send you a 3-minute interview I did or a 3-minute episode and that's all I sent you, okay. But if I send you 15 episodes and each of them was at least an hour, you have 15 hours to spend. What if you were doing a road trip or taking a flight, or you had this weekend off, or you had some time alone, or you had some time to, just have some downtime. And now you can spend at least 1 hour or even at least 1 minute of your day to just say, okay, let me just listen to this and understand what I'm about to get myself into. You know how much time that person has given you? So for someone to give you their time to listen, it says a lot about what you're saying. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. It means a lot to me because you could be doing something else. I'm not the only person that talks about this type of topics. So I don't see myself different from anybody else. I'm just giving you my perspective, but I love that we're able to share this moment together because it means a lot to me that I can share this moment with you. So when you think about these email marketing top quality rated, high spam rate avoidance emails, let me say it like that, you make sure that you're better, because that 0.3% is reaching. You do not want to be above 0.3% at all. You do not want to be above 0.3% because that means for every email that you send, you're getting more dings than yeses. And that's not good, because the more people that are clicking, you realize, oh, wow, okay, now they're clicking. Now they're actually trying to understand, oh, okay, this is making sense. Okay. It gets to a point where you're like, whoa, hold up, what's going on? What are we really doing here? Are we really communicating or are we just talking? Because communication is different from talking. Communication means that I've said something to you, it made sense, and you can respond back to me something that is actually factual, that we can have a conversation on, which will help us have a better understanding on doing things better to have a much better response. So we don't think about this in so many ways, but we have to. And if we do it in a really good way, and we do it in a way that is very eventful, then you realize that the more emails you're sending out to people, the more trust you're building, because the less spams you're actually getting. I don't get spam rates, barely. When it happens, it's once in a blue moon. And then this is somebody who has unsubscribed after maybe 3 years, 4 years. So I'm just like, okay, that's different. Because it happens so randomly, but it's not every time. If it happens every time, that's serious. My email deliverability rate is at 99.8 on average. So that means if I send out an email that inside that email has a domain link, web link, you know how good that means for your DNS records? Because the same Google Search Console you connected through your DNS records is the same DNS records that has your mail exchange records for your email. So you're literally ringing around the roses. So if you really look at every endpoint that has a meeting point, then you consider your email so much so that before you post a social media post, your email is the first place you go to. In fact, let me say it this way. You go to your website first, then you go to your email, and then you go to social media. But people go to social media, then they go to their email, then they go to their website. They're literally doing the exact opposite. So we need to make a U-turn. We need to reverse gear. We need to make a 3-point turn, because this is not the way at all. So when we think about winning and we think about connecting, it's like a building block. And the building block becomes better because now my website is my house. Like you don't go to the office from the kitchen. You don't go to work from the garage. You don't go to the store from your closet. Like, is that even making sense? So what I'm trying to say is that there's order. Welcome, Phyllis. There's order. And thank you for saying that, Cameron. Interesting order. Yeah. Your website is first base. Your website is your home. That's why I treat websites like land. Every time when we build a website for you, when we audit your website, today I was auditing a website and the website literally looks beautiful, amazing, aesthetically pleasing. Like, oh my goodness, wow, look at this thing is moving. I just said, okay, let me turn on my technical SEO hat on, and I saw a local error message. And I said, hey, this is it right here. Whoever's developing this website needs to fix this. So, and he was like, oh, that's true. And it was literally in our faces. So me, I it's kind of like saying you can look beautiful on the outside, but your character, who you are when money's around you and power's around you and things are around you that's good, that's when we really know who you really are. Because if you forgot me today, you'll definitely forget me tomorrow. For sure, without a doubt. But if you remembered me today and we stuck through it, through the thick and thin, and we did this thing really well, oh yeah, we are definitely going to the next level. It's a big deal because that way I know, okay, you got my back and I got yours. And when we got each other's back, that means we can do a lot of things together. So if you think about it, you can think about it this way. Think about it this way. Think about it this way. When you build a relationship with someone, most times it's the last thing you say that's the first thing that they remember. So, if you take that same analogy and think about the last email you sent someone or the last email you submitted or you pushed, now when they're thinking about what you said last, they'll be like, what did Favour talk about again last week? Oh, okay, yeah, he sent a message about this because that was the last thing you heard me talk about. That was the first thing you remembered. So that first thing becomes the start of the conversation that now leads to the next conversation, which is why we're having a conversation in the first place. So when we are avoiding high spam rate, it means that we're avoiding dysfunctionality, we're avoiding dissonance, we're avoiding distractions and also destructions. Even I can call that a dichotomy effect. Destruction, when you think about constructions. We are avoiding misconduct. We are avoiding spam. We want to have a much better outlook, no pun intended, on how we can build more responsibilities online, where our domain reputation is so important, just like we care about our names as well. If our names are more precious than silver and gold, which is also in Proverbs in the Bible, when you go to Proverbs, you will be able to see it there. When you have a domain, that is literally your brand name. So if somebody says, hey, check out my website, wedon'tplaypodcast.com, that's what they remember. So they want to be like, oh, bet, let me go type wedon'tplaypodcast.com on my browser and hit enter and then see what happens. That enter, between the time somebody hits enter and the time somebody sees the first thing on your screen, there's something that's processing in their minds. Even if they click on a link from your email and they're going to a page, they don't know what they're about to see. They do not have any clue. So you're literally taking them on a journey. And if this journey is a roller coaster, oh boy. If this, I'm just thinking about different destinations. If this experience, thank you, Lucas, for the thumbs up. If this experience is going to make them spam you, man, you would have wished you never sent that email in the first place. Because now you got a spam rate that you can't get out. It's kind of like you can't smudge this off because it's already there. So you don't want that in the first place. So to avoid it, you do the right things first. To avoid getting burnt, you avoid the fire. So what we're talking about today or tonight or whatever time you're listening to this, right now it's 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is actually interesting because I didn't look at the time until I said that. So I'm very intentional about things. Sometimes I don't know why they happen the way they do, but we all have a madness or a way to our madness, or whatever they call it. And if there's a way to the madness, if there's a madness way street or whatever you want to call it, there is going to be a way your content is going to play a big role in somebody's time that they spend, because what you're telling them is making sense, S-E-N-S-E, and it's making sense, C-E-N-T-S. That's value. Welcome, Nana, Sasha, Sakshari, thanks for being here, and Sasha as well. Mary, thanks for being here too. Nestor and Chung and Lana. So we have to think about these things in a very sequential way. We can't just ignore these facts. We can't just say that we don't know what we're doing. We need to know what we're doing, especially when we're sending emails, because emails, that's where the money resides. That's where a lot of conversations happen. That's where a lot of deals happen. That's where a lot of invoices are paid. That's where a lot of deals are made. That's where a lot of contracts are signed. That's where a lot of communication is had. So don't ignore emails, especially when it involves you, which it does when you send an email. So when you're thinking about your brand, your business, your operations, your time, it changes your whole perspective. Welcome, Drainy. Welcome, Winifred. So you have to think about your content in a very simple way. Welcome, Salwa. And you have a question too. Hey, Drainy. Salwa says, cool, talking about email marketing. What is the best tool for data? When you say data or data, when you say that Apollo.io, I know that platform, or ZoomInfo, that's a conversation that would take a whole different room, because I know about these tools and I've seen them all. There's another one called Resquared AI. That's another one. What are the other ones? Yeah, there's another one. We featured the CEO of that company called Happier Leads on my podcast. We Don't Play Podcast. That's going to be coming out too. WeDon'tPlayPodcast.com. So yeah, is it Lucia? The one that looks like yellow or purple? Yeah, definitely that one too. All of them. I've seen all of them. And there are more, way, way more. That's just like a tip of the iceberg. These platforms are great, right? don't knock them down. They do amazingly well. Even hunter.io, that's another one too. As I'm thinking about it, it's like they just keep coming to me because I keep seeing them. I've seen them all. Don't be quick to subscribe to these things. I was with Zoom Info myself as well. And you said Zoom Info is overpriced and not all fresh bounce rates are high. Very true. There's a lot of things about that, and I've seen them all, and I've gone through the experiences, and I'm just like, okay, people want to get leads, but what do people really want? What's the reason behind the reason? People want to get results. That's all they want. If you can get me the results, and these results are factual, we can attribute these results to the effort that was applied, then we can apply more effort to get more results. So I always laughing. So you think about these major tools and they do amazing wonders for you. Great, right? But I think about these tools and these databases. What do you think about them? And how do they actually operate? In the podcast world, there is a company I'm about to send an email to tomorrow. I said, I've been giving it some time. I've been praying about it. I'm like, is it time yet? Is it time yet? And I'm like, yep, it's time yet. We've done 3 quarters and we can't do a 4th because this company, I have talked to the engineering team. I've talked to their staff. I've talked to their finance team, their customer success team. And I'm like, you guys can't update a simple RSS feed. My RSS feed has a sticker on it that says we're not sure of the activity of listeners and it keeps fluctuating. And I've asked them like, hey, this needs to change, and you guys, you should be able to do, just imagine the number of the about 4.6 million podcast shows. I'm just one. I'm a little drop in the ocean compared to all these podcasts that are out there that may not have a technical know-how of what's going on. And I've been telling them, hey, change this. Okay, now it's time to cancel it. And they almost canceled my account because they were like, if you don't want to be here, then go. And I was like, what? I said I didn't want to go. I just said I wanted to fix this. But y'all want me to go? No, I'm not going to leave at your say because I'm still here as a client. So the fact that I'm already getting this type of experience as a client is already bad enough. So I'll stay. I'll keep waiting. And I prayed about it. And I'm like, all right, it's time to go. So I said, okay, before things switch, I'll be like, hey, this is exactly what I've been going through. I just hope that nobody else goes through this because this is the worst experience I've ever had. And I don't wish this on anybody else because I feel like if I'm going to be getting emails from this platform to send out podcasts when I can see that another platform has an updated source that is different from yours and yours is outdated because you guys talk about refreshing data cycles and it's not in real time, then what am I paying for? So, and because I'm so technical with SEO, I go down to the domain, like to the root, to the name server. I'm able to understand, okay, what's going on with this? Is this a 403 error? Is this a 404 error? Is this a 504 error? Is this a 200 error? Is this a 202 error? What is this? Is this a 301? Is this a 302? These are numbers that you have to know and understand when it comes at you because you're able to understand exactly what this is and how to deliver and how to respond. So I'm like, nah, I can't keep doing this. So when it comes to emails, Salwa, thank you for bringing that up too. Platforms sell you emails, but imagine if you were able to actually get emails in a very good way, in a very compliant way, in a very ethical way, in a very happy way, because these people that you're sending emails to are people. They're people. And if these people don't get the emails and you're paying for people's emails, what are you paying for? So it's ridiculous. Welcome, Goddess. Thanks for being here, Goddess Renika. And Gatloak, thanks for being here too, and Sachin. So I've seen how these platforms are, what they do. Everybody is great with what they do. I can't knock nobody or what they do, but there's some things that need to be addressed because if they're never addressed, it will never change. That's why I got an email from the person like a week or two later saying, hey, I'm sorry if I sounded offensive or if I sounded like I was being rude. And I was like, wow, You actually said the email. Because in my head I was like, am I crazy? Am I thinking too much? Is this me? Wait, is it me? And I was like, wait, something is wrong here. It's either I just didn't get it. And I was like, you know what? I don't even have that energy to waste. So I'm just going to put myself out of this, call it a great day, and wish you the best in your success. Because I realized that when you start thinking about high spam rate, and that's also what it contributes to, by the way. It's high spam rate. If you start getting emails and these emails are not official emails, or they're not clean emails, or they are not updated emails, it's like you changing your number and me trying to call you and then me getting angry at you because you couldn't pick up your phone, yet you don't even have that number. Make it make sense. So when you look at the comparison between what you're getting and how you can even get your own emails through your own servers, which I always vouch for, because if you have a pop-up on your website and somebody subscribes to your website because they saw your website on Google, or they call your business because they saw your response on ChatGPT, or they saw Siri respond to you as a person of influence or the person of interest, of course, why wouldn't you be the person? So these are very important things to consider. So your goal is to keep a low spam rate of, I can say, below 0.1 and definitely below 0.3. If you're at 0.1, you're good. Right? You shouldn't even have anything up. If you have a 0.4, 0.5, yeesh. Some people can have a 1.2 and they're like, okay, it's 1%. No, that's a volume problem. Sava, your phone died. Sorry. Welcome back. It's a volume problem. So you have to think about the right cadence when you're sending emails. You don't want to sound pushy. You don't want to sound spammy. You don't want to sound like the awkward guy or the weird person in the room. Nah, you just do not want to be that person. So think about it this way too. If you also have a problem with your spam rate, this is something to also check. Please, every time you do this, please do this for me. And if you do this for me, I'll be so happy. If you do this for me, I will be the happiest person. Every time you send an email to your list, every time, give it about maybe less than an hour to about 48 hours, because that's usually the time, especially if you resend that email after 24 hours. Give it about 48 hours and then go back to your analytics, not even your analytics, go to your audience. I don't know which platform you use, but we use Flowdesk as partners. And when you go to your audience, go to the section that says filter. And when you're filtering your audience, filter it by unsubscribed, by cleaned, by marked as spam, and by bounce. When you can have a hard bounce or a soft bounce, right? So all bounces matter. So when you have all these and put them all in one bucket, right? And cluster them together, right? Welcome Saturday. Then what you got to do next is see how many emails marked you as spam, how many emails unsubscribed, how many emails bounced, how many emails were cleaned, and then delete all of them. Don't even unsubscribe, just delete them. Why? If they need to resubscribe, they will. Because if you keep them there and they already made an action, a manual action, right? What's the manual action? I clicked unsubscribe. I clicked marked as spam. I clicked delete. You're also doing a manual action too. It's a reaction from an action, right? So if you're not going to react from the action, then you're going to get a reaction that will be worse than the action that you received the first time, because now you have a backlog of emails that are not leaving, one, your email list, and two, they're hurting your data, because now you have skewed information based on the fact that your numbers are not looking as healthy as they could, because you have emails that you're sending to that are also part of your email volume. So to avoid high spam rate, delete those emails. If you don't really want to delete them, That's on you. Add them to a segment and say to be deleted later. If you don't want to delete them now, but put them somewhere so that you know that these are the emails that should not be sent to, so that you can either say, here are my active and here's my inactive. Break them out so that when you're sending emails to active subscribers, you're getting active responses. Imagine me knocking on your door or calling your phone and you're not picking up, and not because you're not actually answering the phone or you're not opening the door, but because I can't even hear you because I don't have exactly what you're talking about. Like, it's dead noise. It's literally thin air. And Salwa says, automate them to be deleted. That's even better. So you think about it, right? You move from manual to automatic to self-driven. You move from gas to electric, and probably in the future, hydrogen. So when you start looking at all these different things, your business starts to become a helium effect. Let me use that word, because now your balloon is just going up and up and up and up and up. Your graphics, your graphs or your analytics are just skyrocketing. Your domain performance is shooting up the roofs. Your DNS records are healthy. Your SPF records are healthy, which is your sender policy framework. It's healthy. You have good scores. You have good resources. You have good things that are going out to good people, and they're active, and they may not be saying anything, but they're clicking, they're opening, they're getting delivered. My email deliverability is 99.8. Sounds like an FM radio station. When you look at the frequency you're sending to people consistently and you realize, oh, it could be louder. Okay, it could be better. It could fine tune. Okay, let's tweak it. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. It gets better because you're not, why are you crying over 2 people who unsubscribed when you have 1,000 people who are still there? Sometimes I don't get it, but I get it. Either way, it's your business and it's not my problem. But it becomes a problem when the person you're sending an email to cannot receive it because you haven't done your due diligence to actually save them the stress. So to avoid that entirely is to just have a best practice that keeps you in check and keeps them in check, because everybody has a reality check. Everybody is able to understand, okay, this was checked off. I've sent an email to myself 3 times. I've sent an email to myself 5 times. All the buttons are working. You can send an email, read it in a desktop, read it in a mobile phone. If you have a tablet, read it there too. Send it to your friend. Tell them what they think. Ask them what they think. Whatever they say, try it out. Because if you send that email to 50 people and there was a problem and you get a spam rate, or you get spam, or you get marked as spam, you hear that sound? I can't repeat that sound unless I repeat that sound again. In other words, it has happened. So if somebody marks you as spam, it's there. And you don't want to hear that sound again. So to avoid that from happening, you want to keep it clean. Keep your bed sheets clean. Keep your toothbrush clean. Keep your towel clean. Keep your domain clean. Keep your website clean. These are fresh as a mist things that you got to do. Like, you think about your goals, think about your settings, think about your targets, think about your marketing, think about your analytics, think about your domain property. How are you actually creating consistent quality content for people to see it daily? It's hard, but it gets easier when you're able to segment your emails, create a cadence. Say, okay, I'm going to send an email 1 weekday, 1 weekend, 1 weekday, 1 weekend, 1 day in a week. It gets better because the more you send it out, the better it gets. So clean up your email list. And then if you see anybody signing up with an email list that doesn't look real, let's say it's abcdefg@gmail.com, delete that email, because that's also hurting you too. So people just say, oh yeah, we have 100 subscribers, but 20% of them are not real. So we need to check our emails. We need to be really, really checking our emails, guys. Like, I'm so serious about this because I know that this will help you more than it will hurt you. And if it ever hurts you, that means something went wrong and you need to fix it. And we can fix it together, because you can't do it on your own and we can't do it on our own. That's why we need each other. That's why we have information like this, because we learn every day, we test every day. It's not perfect. I'm not perfect, but we can perfect it by creating less errors that we can avoid. So by avoiding that, you're able to preview your emails, and that allows you to avoid spam traps. That allows you to have better response rates and higher email domain activity. I haven't sent an email to my community since International Women's Day. That was March 8th. I'm sending another email tomorrow. And it's going to be a list of all the episodes. We've dropped 52 episodes this month only. Between, January 1st and today, 52 episodes. So we have about 652 episodes. So now we're about to get into season 13. And I'm like, okay, now I got the frequency. Now I got the sequence. I see what people want on the We Don't Play podcast show. And now I can definitely bring it, because this month we're literally having a new schedule, which will be so exciting to just have a full Women's Day to celebrate Women's History Month, and all the interviews that we had. We're going to have a select few, which will be exciting, and there'll be women we'll be highlighting, things like acupuncture, things like cleaning, things like, I don't even want to mention all of them, but amazing women doing amazing things for amazing people in amazing spaces. And I can't wait to share those experiences with you that we had with them too on the show. So if you want to get information like this, click the link above, go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com or click the link above, and you can sign up and get information like this directly into your inbox, because that way you're able to listen at your convenient time, click in any time that you need to, and you can hear these stories. So I'm going to be sending out an email so that people can connect. And since March 8th till now, about at least 2,000 contacts, because we have about close to 10,000 contacts. At least 2,000 contacts have been active in the inbox. And we only sent maybe 1 or 2 emails this month. Yeah. So that says that people are still active today, and people still open emails that we sent weeks ago now, because of the value that was sent then. So every email you send should still bring value. It shouldn't be devalued. It should be increased, because the more value you send, the more emails you send. Thank you for the fire sour. The more emails you send, the more the anticipation is, the more they actually want to hear from you. It's kind of like saying I have a conversation with you. Oh man, that was so good. I want to have it again. Or that was some nice steak. Or that seafood was bumping. It was busting. Oh, I want to get that again. Or what flavor was that again? What sauce was that? Yeah, because you want to have that experience again. So if your emails feel like that, if they feel like amazing emails, then people will always want that, because your titles, your emails are having amazing subject lines, amazing preview text, amazing context, and the replies are there. The replies are replying. Let me say it that way. So think about your business today and ask yourself, is my spam rate high? Is my spam rate low? If it's low, great. If it's high, yikes. We need to fix that. And some people may say, oh yeah, I'm just going to switch platforms. I'm going to switch my platform and I'm going to move to another CRM so that I don't have that on my record. It don't work like that. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. That has to be the goal. And welcome, Michaela and Princess. Thanks for being here too. So create content that makes sense for the people that are reading it. Welcome, Joy. And be cautious and be careful so that the people that are listening to you, connecting with you, they're learning from you. People who listen to me here, I've been on Clubhouse. This is going to be 6 years on Clubhouse. November 24th, 2026. Yeah, it's going to be 6 years. And the number of connections here, endless. I'm meeting with someone tomorrow, and I met him on Clubhouse 6 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. So, and we're doing business. He sent me referrals. I've sent him. We're buddies now. He's a cool friend of mine now. So you just don't know who you're going to meet in life, on the app, anywhere, at the grocery store, at the airport, wherever you go, you're always going to see people. So leave a lasting impression and your name is literally on the subject line. Literally. So just be very cautious and also be very, gracious to yourself and also gracious to people so that you spend the right time with them and everything works out. Do we have any questions? Let me know. Put in the chat if you do. If you don't, put a 1 in the chat and let me know if this information was helpful. I'd love to see that 1 in the chat. That means a lot to me. And it lets me know that you're here, you're listening, and you're also gaining something. We've talked about email marketing today. We've been very intentional with the time and the topic. So I've made sure that we're able to do something like this that is helpful, but at the same time, heavy in context so that you're not just writing for writing's sake or listening for listening's sake. You're building and you're learning too. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you for being here. Bedraj, Ro, Joy, Amin, DJ, Grace, Goddess, Annan, Gatloak, Drainy, Navi, Michaela, Sawa, Cameron, and everybody as well who has been here and also will be here. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, my link is available here. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Closing in on 19,000 followers, connections. It's going to be about 20,000 by the summertime, the way it's going. And I'm grateful for all the connections here. It's crazy. I have more connections on LinkedIn than my email list. And we're about to flip that to actually double that because connecting with at least 100 clients a year is a blessing. And this year alone, we've already worked with 20 clients this year alone. So I know that we can help more people and do it at a larger capacity because we're able to really show that, yes, it's possible. And these things are not rocket science. It's just what you apply and what you focus on grows. Thank you so much, Sawa, for saying that in the chat. Thanks. That was cool. Thank you for being here too. And great questions today. That was very helpful. Love that. So thank you all. Have a blessed night. Thank you, Drainy, for the 1. Appreciate you. That 1 means so much to me. So I wish I could be able to send, I don't know how this thing works, but yeah, you have to be on stage for me to send you this premium reacts, which are like coins on Clubhouse. But yeah, appreciate the love. And thank you so much for responding too. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your Easter week. And yeah, I've been really reading about Easter, like how it happened. And by the way, this is the actual exact week that the Easter week or the time Easter actually happened, when Jesus was actually crucified and he raised from the dead, was actually a week like this. If you Google it or do your research, this week, the way it starts, April 3rd is a Friday, I believe. And that happened in 33 AD. So this week, exactly the way this week starts is exactly the way that week started. So, and I was reading the Bible and I was like, wow, this is deep, Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea, the ones that, took Jesus' body and put in a new tomb. Nobody was ever in that tomb. And it's when you read it, it's deep. And then I was also seeing how when we think about, he was nailed on the cross and he was not even nailed at the front of his feet. It was on the side. And it's crazy. And I was like, there's a whole YouTube video and I've been watching it. I'm like, yo, it's deep. Like, I don't know. For me, I don't just read things because people say, yeah, happy Easter, happy Christmas, happy Thanksgiving. But we don't really know the value until we understand the root of things. So I'm just saying this because I just felt led to share with you because I don't always talk about things like this. But when I do, I say them very specifically because this is a specific time. So I hope you all enjoy your Easter, enjoy your evening. And Drainy, I'll check your DM as well. Thanks for sending that to me. And I'll, check that and we'll make sure we have a conversation. There's a lot of good things out here we can definitely do. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, be out here, be blessed. Don't be stressed. Stay hydrated, stay up, and make sure that everything works out in your favor. No pun intended. Have a wonderful night. God bless you all. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next episode. If you have reached this point of the episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I hope this has helped you, given you some insight, because every time I come on here or anytime I bring somebody on here, a guest, a speaker, anyone that is of relevance to you listening is always going to give you educational value, definitely entertainment value, and most importantly, empowerment value. So thank you for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show every day. And if you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Click the links in the description or go to info@playinc.online, info@playinc.online, and book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk SEO. Let's talk marketing. Let's talk business. Let's talk scaling. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about you and your business. Till we meet in the next episode, have a blessed evening. Have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.